Welcome to the When at Work podcast. You're with your host, Julian Leahy. And today I'm joined by Barbara Daoust from barbaradoust.com. Welcome to the show, Barbara.
Well, thank you for having me, Julian.
All right, let's get things underway. We're going to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And then we're going to talk about all the fantastic stuff that Barbara is doing. So, all right. Can you see the first question, Barbara?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Commonly found in urban settings, Columba livia is the scientific name for what birds?
Oh.
Emu, ostrich, pigeon, or peacock?
At first I was like, is it something in Colombia? And so the only thing that is an urban setting here is pigeon.
Pigeon. Let's lock it in. And that is correct. Well done. All right, so you've got the first one out of the way. Let's get into the next one. A bit of folk wisdom warns that when you point a finger at someone, how many fingers are pointing back at you? All right, now if you get stuck, don't forget you've got 3 lifelines. You can poll the audience, you can do a 50-50 split, or you can holler at someone in the house, if there is anyone in the house. All right, so the possible answers are 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's kind of hard. A bit of folk wisdom warns that when you point a finger at someone, how many fingers are pointing back at you?
This one's easy for me.
Easy?
Uh-huh. I share this with my clients all the time because I'm big on, really examining judgment. So I always say, you spot it, you got it. So that means 3 fingers are pointing back.
Wow, let's lock that one in and take a look. Absolutely correct, Barbara. Well done. I had no idea about that one. All right, let's see if I can get the music happening. What happened to the music? All right. Anyway, we'll go on to the next question. A cast member of the AMC series Hell on Wheels, rapper-actor Lonnie Lynn Jr. is better known by what stage name? This is hard. And the answers are Common, T-Pain, Lil Wayne, or Snoop Dogg. You have lifelines. You have a 50-50 split, poll the audience, or holler.
Oh, let's poll the audience.
Let's poll the audience. Okay, let me do that. Okay, we're just waiting. All right, they're nearly ready. Okay, so we've got 78% have said A, 9% have said B, 3% said C, and D, 9%.
Well, 78% is just, can't beat that. Let's
Can't
go
beat
with
that.
A.
Always go with the audience. Let's take a look. Okay, got it right. 1 lifeline down, but I think you absolutely needed to use that one. All right, on to the next one. A fetoscope is a medical tool commonly used to examine pregnant women, people with stomach ulcers, people with back pain, people with suspected bone fractures. A fetoscope.
I'm going to say pregnant women.
Oh, locking it in with confidence. Let's take a look. Absolutely correct. Well done. You're doing very well. You only used 1 lifeline. Got a long way to go. A form of vitamin A, retinol, is a popular ingredient in which of these drugstore items? Laxatives, anti-wrinkle cream, aspirin, antibiotics.
Well, I think I'm old enough to say B, anti-wrinkle cream.
Ah, well done. I don't think you need that. All right, let's take a look. Well done. Okay, so you're at the first safe level of 1,000. 1,000 in funny money. All right, let's continue on. A fumarole is an opening in the Earth's crust, typically found on or near what type of natural formation? Waterfall, iceberg, volcano, tsunami.
Well, I don't know that I want to use a lifeline, so I have left I've got the 50-50, right?
Yeah, 50-50 or holler.
And I've got call a friend, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say volcano.
Lock it in. You got to take a risk. And it's paid off. Well done. Got it correct. And you saved your lifeline, which is important. Continuing on. A great space-saving idea, a twin bed that slides underneath another twin when not in use is called what? A futon, a waterbed, a hammock, or a trundle bed?
A trundle bed.
Oh, locking it in straight away. You really know these. Absolutely correct. I think you could go all the way, Barbara. I've got a feeling. A fragrance by Christian Dior, Fahrenheit 32, gets its name from the temperature at which what happens? It explodes, water freezes, water boils, gasoline evaporates.
It's B, water freezes.
Oh, wow. Absolutely correct. I didn't know that one because we don't do Fahrenheits down here.
We don't do Fahrenheits,
No.
yeah. Well, I'm originally from Canada, so I understand Celsius.
Oh, you understand,
as well.
eh?
Yeah, I do, eh?
You don't eat the poutine or whatever it's called?
I'm not a fan.
No, it looks a bit weird. All right, continuing on. A giant compound in Southern California houses Jay Leno's famous collection of cars, chin warmers, guns, or cigars.
A, cars.
All right. Lock it in. Absolutely correct. All right. We're approaching the next level. I've got a feeling they're going to get harder. A group of what birds is known as a murder? Seagulls, emus, crows, or woodpeckers?
Not certain, but I'm going to go with C, crows.
Not certain. Okay, let's lock it in. It's always risky. Absolutely correct. On to the next safe level. Well done, Barbara. Doing very well. I really think you're going to take this out. The second person in history. A likely expert on the Loch Ness Monster and the Abominable Snowman, a cryptozoologist studies what? Unidentified flying objects, mythical creatures, ancient civilizations, or lost cities?
I'm going to say B, mythical creatures.
Mythical creatures. Lock it in. Absolutely correct. That one was easy. No, you did well. Okay,
Thank you.
a liger is an animal that results from the crossbreeding of a tiger and a what? Lion, leopard, cheetah, or jaguar?
Let's go with A, lion.
Okay, lock it in. Okay, absolutely correct. And 2 questions to go to take it out for the second time ever. Barbara is on fire. A late night talk show host that debuted on TBS in 2009, The Lopez Show, is hosted by whom? George Lopez, Mario Lopez, Jennifer Lopez, or Carlos Lopez?
A, George Lopez.
George Lopez. Well done. Oh, my goodness. We're on to the final question. And this one is difficult. Okay. So let's take a look. Oh, it's not that difficult. A hectare is a metric unit used to measure what? Weight, area, acceleration, or temperature? Canadian Barbara will be able to do this one.
I don't know this one.
Okay. All right. Well, we've got your lifelines. Do you want to do a 50-50 split?
Let's do 50-50.
Okay. Let's take a look. Okay. So we've got area and acceleration.
So it's going to be B, area.
Lock it in. And Barbara is correct. Well done, Barbara. Second person to go all the way on $1 million worth of funny money. Great job. All right, now, Barbara, you are a very
Thank
fun
you.
person and made a great guest. And tell us all about what you're doing over at barbaradaoust.com.
Well, thank you for asking, and thank you for having this fun start. So I am basically focused on pulling potential out of people and showing them the parts of themselves that they haven't yet met. And the way that I do that is through a very specific program designed to help people achieve stretch goals, dreams, and visions that are quite outside their comfort zone. So I really am passionate about people actually taking action on their dreams.
I can tell that you actually do care about that. And who are the people that you work with? Who are your ideal people to work with that you can help?
You know, I work with a lot of working professionals and entrepreneurs and small business owners. So that could look like I work with marriage family therapists, I work with lawyers, I work with financial advisors, and then of course the entrepreneurs who are, building a new business or maybe mid-level. So it's really people who are frustrated with under-earning. They've got degrees, they've got experience, they've got, the desire, but they don't know what's in their way. And essentially it's they're frustrated with under earning. They know there's so much more, they want so much more, they could have so much more. They just are not really clear on how to get there or what's in the way.
Yeah, and often really kind of high-powered, successful people, everybody hits these road bumps, and speaking to somebody, it often is, it's incredible because you cannot see, the forest for the trees or whatever, and when you get somebody in there, it's often really transformative, isn't it? And tell me about how you got to be in this position of doing what you're doing, your journey, etc.
Yeah. Well, even when you say about, can't see the forest or can't see the trees for the forest, the idea here, I used to be a director in the entertainment business. And when you're the picture in the frame, you can't see yourself, and I often would say to actors that who thought they could direct themselves, good luck.
Yeah.
So essentially I was in the entertainment business for 25 years and I have a master's in directing, and I had a theater company. I had some great successes there, and then I worked as a personal acting coach to the Olsen twins for 10 years. Do you know who they are?
I do know who they
Mm-hmm.
are.
And then and I also
Okay, stop there, Barbara. What are they like?
they're the most sweet, beautiful women. They really are.
Wow. And what age were they when you worked with them?
So I worked with them from the ages of 7 to 17. That's how I made it to Australia.
Ah, so during the Full House craziness.
I was only on
Were they?
Full House the last season.
Okay.
So they were 7 years old when it was the last season. And everything else was, I worked on about 22 videos with them and several direct to, or, movie of the weeks, direct videos. And on a lot of them, not only was I was shooting behind the scenes, I was helping them with the performance piece of it. And then I was also helping a lot of directors direct.
Wow, that's very exciting. And were you living in Hollywood, or do you do that elsewhere? Did you do that
I still
elsewhere?
live in Hollywood. I'm currently
Oh,
in
okay.
Hollywood. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And I
How
had
exciting.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go on. No, continue
I
on.
was going to say,
You had a?
I had an acting academy for a number of years and worked with young professional actors who are now big stars. And so I really pull performance out of people. That's my passion. It's just showing people how to show up, showing people how to be visible, showing people how to step into their power. And it's not without fear. It's not without doubt. It's not without, needing support, right? And then what happened essentially, as I was building my directing career, I directed their animated series and I was going to be directing a TV series. And then I lost my husband suddenly 2 months before our 25th wedding anniversary. And that led to me shutting everything down, closed my private practice, I closed my academy. I just stopped working altogether. And then, the what's next question was just kept appearing. And then I found my mother-in-law dead in her apartment. And then my father died, my best friend died, and then my brother-in-law died jumping out of a plane and his parachute didn't open. So I
My
had
goodness.
tremendous loss in a 2 year period. And I really went on a quest, Julian, to find out why change was so complicated. And I didn't understand how the mind functions. I didn't understand the difference between the brain and the mind. I didn't understand the how to connect with the higher self. I didn't understand a lot. It was basically living my whole life seeking approval outside myself. So I made a paradigm shift, and that was I um, floundered. I was 3 years in an alcoholic stupor and needed help. We needed some very serious help, and met some people along the way who helped strengthen my resiliency. And then I studied in a master's program in spiritual psychology. I certified in a law of attraction program, a quantum success coaching program. And then in 2013, I met Bob Proctor. Do you know who he is?
Yes, yeah, yep.
And I became a top consultant with his company. And that's the Thinking into Results program that I've been doing for the last 10 years because it changed my life. It doubled my practice and tripled my income in less than a year. Amazing results with clients. And I continue to bring in all my experiences as well as the education I received in so many programs. And I've been studying neuroscience for the last 8 years. I work with a doctor in brainwave entrainment, and I do everything and anything I can to help people access change, really step into what they say they want.
Yes, and a lot of these barriers that people have. You talk about the terror barrier. Do you want to tell us about what is the terror barrier, Barbara?
Well, basically, the terror barrier is, there's two opposing vibrations going on. One is the old self and one is the new self, right? So we have a desire to create more or a dream to have, let's say, a coffee shop or whatever it is, a bookstore. But immediately, the old self is going to kick in, the old paradigms, the old belief systems, all of that is going to create some chaos and upheaval and doubt and fear and worry. And as soon as you say that you're going to do something exciting and scary and you commit to it, fear, doubt, and worry are automatically going to come in. And that's the terror barrier. And to know that what's going on is just two opposing vibrations. You've got the old self and you've got the new self, and there's there's neural pathways stuck in their grooves, and trying to change those is going to create dissonance in the body. And that's what the terror barrier is. And most people don't go through it. Most people go back to what they know and live a life creating a prison of their own making.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you talk about people, becoming who you are, and you have to come from the dream. What does that mean, Barbara?
Well, coming from the dream is kind of like an actor playing their starring role. Who do they have to be in order to be the hero or heroine of their movie, right? Who do they have to be? Who do you have to be highly successful? Who do you have to be to, create the millions you want? I was just speaking to an 18-year-old who was in my last group, and he just bought his first house, and so it was, who did he have to be in order to achieve that? And we have that conversation all the time. It's about what habits are you going to create? What does a highly successful person, create for themselves in their mind, in their thinking mind, in their habits and in their behaviors and in their follow through, and then ultimately, their behavior and action. So if you really understand that there are three parts to our personality, the spiritual, the intellectual, and the physical, and it's aligning those three parts that really starts to move the needle, so to speak. So to aim for next level results is to imagine who is the character that you need to be. And to start becoming it might mean, what's the clothing that you're going to wear? Is it putting on a suit? Is it, If you're an athlete, what are the actions that you're going to start taking? What are the incremental steps that are going to start owning the skin of that character, owning and becoming, through belief and through consistent, forward moving action. And then one day through practice, right, you're starting out as an unconscious, incompetent. And then one day you start to realize that, hey, I'm getting a little bit better at this. And oh my goodness, I'm getting really good at this. And through resiliency and through discipline and through stick-to-itness, you start to own the skin of that character and start to be it. So that's the becoming. And when you're becoming it, you start to close the gap. And the nice thing about it is that the gap starts to kind of come to you, that closing, because the dream starts to show up if you're really listening. People, places, circumstances, opportunity starts to respond and show up in a different way. And if you're really listening, your preparation is going to crack open, unlimited possibilities.
Wow, wonderful. And tell us about the six mental faculties that are probably a big part of this consciousness.
Yeah. Well, once you understand the function of the mind and you understand the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and even I don't go too deeply into the unconscious levels, that's a whole other realm of ancestral programming. But when you understand that the conscious mind, there are mental faculties that we have from intuition, perception, will, memory, reasoning, and imagination. And so unless you think outside the box or outside what you already know, you're just going to keep performing at the level of what you already know. So you'll never outperform your self-image. You'll never outperform what you already know. So how do you, think differently? Well, it takes consciousness. It takes being aware of there's other information out there to grab. There are other people who think differently to hang out with. There are images to look at. There's research that you can do that starts to inspire and ignite and light up, the whole nervous system into understanding that we have mental faculties. And our biggest power at the conscious level is to focus and choose. So we have the ability to accept, reject, or neglect at the conscious level. At the subconscious level, we don't have the ability to reject. So whatever the conscious mind is really focused on and accepting as the truth, subconscious just plays it out. And most people are not aware that they can use their mental faculties, because 95 neuroscience is showing this, Julian, 95% of our behavior stems from our subconscious. Right. And it takes awareness. So when you go after this dream and this big goal and you commit to it, the paradigms will show up, the belief systems will show up. It's only then that you can consciously start to focus on how to change them.
Absolutely. And the longer you go, the shell's a little bit harder to crack, but by being conscious about everything you're doing and having somebody actually talk you through it, I think helps. And it's very difficult to do this type of thing on your own. Some people can, but you really need help. And how do you sort of meet with people, and what's the first point of contact if people think, well, I'd like to speak to Barbara?
Well, they can go to my website and book a session. So I offer a complimentary play bigger game session, and I see whether or not my work and my program is a good fit for you based on what your needs are and what your desires are, and whether or not you need some clarification. And then from there we can decide whether or not to join one of my groups. So in my groups, I keep them small. I keep them to a size of 8. And if the group is full, I'll start another group, because I want people to be supported. And then we meet once a week for 90 minutes. But then the program, there are videos that you have to watch every single day, twice a day. The videos are between 15 and 20 minutes, and there's homework. And people come to the call. And why I keep it small is so that nobody's hiding and people do their homework, And so if you're not doing your homework and you go into a breakout room with somebody, you don't feel so good about not showing up, because it's not helping you or them. And so people get results. And where I've been surprised and blessed is that I've got people repeating the same program with me for 10 years. The same program. I bring something new to it, based on my feedback or on my perspective or on something new that I've learned. But ultimately, the basics and the foundation of the program is what people sets people up for next level, next level, next level, next level. And people who repeat the program come back in and say, I don't remember this. I don't remember this lesson. I don't, and it's because they're a new version of themselves. And that's what's really exciting. When you realize that you don't remember something, and it's really because your consciousness has completely shifted.
And you're growing, wonderful. And that's really good. And I like the idea of having the small groups, first of all, for that accountability, because I have seen people where they're just kind of piling people in, and it's really about something else altogether. And this is how they do it in a lot of good schools as well. They have small groups. It's the best way to learn. And also the accountability factor as well, and making people actually do this stuff, because you do have to actually work to grow. Barbara, it's not just about watching videos, is it?
It's not. It's application, application, application. And sometimes that application could mean just watching a video, and changing the mindset around something, or listening to another perspective. That's the other mental faculty that I didn't mention, which was perception. I had a woman who was a health coach come into the program, and in the very beginning, she was just floundering. What's next? How do I survive? What do I do? And she's now on TV shows.
It's awesome. Yeah, wonderful. And if you do want to get in touch with Barbara, barbaradoust.com, and I can tell that Barbara is a very helpful person that I would recommend easily. So go and check out what Barbara's doing. And what have you got coming up, Barbara?
Well, I've got a group coming up starting on October 2nd, so in a couple of weeks, and just looking for people who are high achievers, peak performers, know that they can do better and want more. And having said that too, Julian, there are people who may be confused and not quite certain, but they end up navigating the paradigms and having some surprises because they start waking up to the dream that's really buried inside.
Yes, that's right. And a lot of people have that kind of confusion, that lack of clarity about what they're doing. And, I think that, if you are feeling that, then you do need a coach, full stop, and it will be helpful. So, and if you like Barbara, which I think people will, then go and check out what Barbara's doing. You've got to really be selective with the type of person you want to work with, and find somebody that sort of fits your own pace, I guess. Thanks for coming on, Barbara. You were a fantastic guest.
Thank you for having me, Julian. Such a pleasure.
No worries. Thanks, everyone, for listening and watching. I'm going to wrap it up now, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.